So today we are going to do the chapter 8, which is on
Okay.
image making. And in many of Krishnamurti's talks, you will hear about this word image. And let's see whether we can understand this for ourselves. So, yes, Uncle, please start.
Krishnamurti on education talk to students, chapter 8 on image making. When we are very young, it is a delight to be alive, to hear the birds of the morning, to see the hills after rain, to see those rocks shining in the sun, the leaves sparkling, to see the clouds go by, and to rejoice on a clear morning with a full heart and a clear mind. We lose this feeling when we grow up with worries, anxieties, quarrels, hatreds, fears, and everlasting struggle to earn a livelihood. We spend our days in battle with each other, disliking and liking, with a little pleasure now and then. We never hear the birds, see the trees as we once saw them, saw the dew on the grass and the bird on the wing, and the shiny rock on a mountainside glistening in the morning light. We never see all that when we are grown up. Why? I do not know if you ever have asked that question. I think it necessary to ask it. If you do not ask it now, you will soon be caught. You soon be caught. You will go to college, get married, have children, husbands, wives, responsibilities, and a livelihood, and then you will grow old and die. This is what happens to people. We have to ask now why we have lost this extraordinary feeling for beauty when we see flowers, when we hear birds. Why do we lose the sense of the beautiful? I think we lose it primarily because we are so concerned with ourselves. We have an image of ourselves. Do you know what an image is? It is something carved by the hand out of stone, out of marble, and this stone carved by the hand is put in a temple and worshipped. But it is still handmade, an image made by man. You also have an image about yourself, not made by the hand, but by the mind, by thought, by experience, by knowledge, by your struggle, by all the conflicts and miseries of your life. As you grow older, the image becomes stronger, larger, after all demanding and insistent. The more you listen, act, have your existence in that image, the less you see beauty. Feel joy at something beyond the little promptings of that image. The reason why you lose this quality of fullness is because you are so self concerned. Do you know what that phrase to be self concerned means? It is to be occupied with oneself, to be occupied with one's capacities, whether they are good or bad, with what your neighbors think of you, whether you have a good job, whether you are going to become an important man or be thrown aside by society. You're always struggling in the office, at home, in the fields, wherever you are, whatever you do, you're always in conflict and you do not seem to be able to get out of conflict. Not being able to get out of it, you create the image of a perfect state of heaven, of God. Again, another image made by the mind. You have images not only inwardly but also deeper down, and they're always in conflict with each other. So the more you are in conflict, and conflict will always exist so long as you have images, opinions, concepts, ideas about yourself, the greater will be the struggle. So the question is it possible to live in this world without an image about yourself? You function as a doctor, a scientist, a teacher, a physicist. You use that function to create the image about yourself. And so, using function, you create conflict in functioning, in doing. I wonder if you do understand this. You know, if you dance well, if you play an instrument, a violin, a veena, use the instrument or the dance to create the image about yourself, to feel how marvelous you are, how wonderfully well you play or dance. You use the dancing, the playing of the instrument in order to enrich your image of yourself. And that is how you live, creating, strengthening that image of yourself. So there is more conflict. The mind gets dull and occupied with itself, and it loses the sense of beauty, of joy, of clear thinking. I think it is part of education to function without creating images. You then function without the battle, the inward struggle that goes on within yourself. There is no end to education. It is not that you read a book, pass an examination, and finish with education. The whole life, the whole of life, from the moment you are born till the moment you die, is a process of learning. Learning has no end, and that is the timeless quality of learning. And you cannot learn if you are in battle, if you are in conflict with yourself, with your neighbor, with society. You are always in conflict with society, with your neighbor, as long as there is an image. But if you are learning about the mechanics of putting together that image, then you will see that you can look at the sky, then you can look at the river and the raindrops on the leaf, feel the cool air of a morning and the fresh breeze among the leaves. Then life has an extraordinary meaning, life in itself, not the significance given by the image to life. Life itself has an extraordinary meaning. Student, when you're looking at a flower, what is your relationship with the flower? Krishnamurti. You look at a flower, and what is your relationship to the flower? Do you look at the flower, or do you think you're looking do you look at the flower, or do you think you are looking at the flower? You see the difference. You are actually uh, are you actually looking at the flower, or you think you ought to look at the flower, or are you looking at the flower with an image you have about the flower? The image being that is a rose. Um, the word is image, the word is knowledge, and therefore you're looking at that flower with the word, the symbol, with knowledge, and therefore you're not looking at the flower, or you are looking at it with a mind that is thinking about something else. When you look at a flower without the word, without the image, and with a mind that is completely attentive, then what is the relationship between you and the flower? Have you ever done it? Have you ever looked at a flower without saying that it is a rose? Have you ever looked at a flower completely with total attention, in which there is no word, no symbol, no naming of the flower, and therefore complete attention? Till you do that, you have no relationship with the flower. To have any relationship with another, or with a rock, or with a leaf, one has to watch and to observe with complete attention. Then your relationship to that which you see is entirely different. Then there is no observer at all. There is only that. If you so observe, then there is no opinion, no judgment. It is what it is. Have you understood? Will you do it? Look at the flower that way. Do it, sir. Don't talk about it, but do it. Student, if you have lots of time, how would you spend it, sir? Krishnamurti. I would do that. I would do what I am doing. You see, if you love what you are doing, then you have all the leisure that you need in your life. Do you understand what I have said? You asked me what I would do. Uh, you asked me what I would do if I had leisure. I said I would do what I'm doing, which is to go around different parts of the world to talk, to see people, and so on. I do it because I love to do, not because I talk to a great many people and feel that I'm very important. When you feel very important, you do not love what you're doing. You love yourself and not what you're doing. So your concern should be not with what I am doing, but with what you are doing, you are going to do, right? I have told you what I am doing. Now, you tell me what you will do when you have plenty of leisure. Student, I would get bored, sir. Krishnamurti. You would get bored, quite right. That is what most people are. Student, how do I get rid of this boredom, sir? Krishnamurti. Wait, listen. Most people are bored. Why? You asked how to get rid of boredom. Now find out. When you are by yourself for half an hour, you are bored. So you pick up a book, chatter, look at a magazine, go to a cinema, talk, do something. You occupy your mind with something. This is an escape from yourself. You have asked a question. Now pay attention to what is being said. You get bored because you find yourself with yourself, and you have never found yourself with yourself. Therefore, you get bored. You say, "Is that all I am? I'm so small. I'm so worried. I want to escape from all that. What you are is very boring, so you run away. But if you say, I'm not going to be bored, I'm going to find out why I'm like this, I want to see what I am like actually, then it is like looking at yourself in a mirror. There, you are very clearly what you are, what your face looks like, what your face looks like. Then you say that you do not like your face, then you must be beautiful, you must look like a cinema actress. But if you were to look at yourself and say, yes, that is what I am, my nose is not very straight, my eyes are rather small, my hair is straight, you accept it. When you see what you are, there is no boredom. Boredom comes in only when you reject what you see and want to be something else. In the same way, when you can look at yourself inside and see exactly what you are, the seeing of it is not boring. It is extraordinarily interesting because the more you see of it, the more there is to see. You can go deeper and wider, and there is no end to it. In that, there is no boredom. If you can do that, then what you do is what you love to do, and what you love to do a thing, time does not exist. Then, when you love to plant trees, you water them, look after them, protect them. When you know what you really love to do, you will see the days are too short. So you have to find time, you have to find out for yourself, and from now on, what you love to do, what you really want to do, not just be concerned with the career. Student, how do you find out what you love to do, sir? Krishnamurti, how do you find out what you love to do? You have to understand that it may be different from what you want to do. You may want to become a lawyer because your father is a lawyer, or because you see that becoming a lawyer, you can earn more money. Then you do not love what you do because you have a motive for doing something which will give you profit, which will make you famous. But if you love something, there is no motive. You do not use what you're doing for your own self-importance. To find out what you love to do is one of the most difficult things. That is part of education. To find out, you have to go into yourself very, very deeply. It is not very easy. You may say, I want to be a lawyer, and you struggle to be a lawyer, and then suddenly you find you do not want to be a lawyer. You would like to be a paint, but it is so late, but it is too late. You are already married, you already have a wife and children, you cannot give up your career, your responsibilities, so you feel frustrated and unhappy. Or you may say, I really would like to paint, and you devote all your life to it, and suddenly you find you are not a good painter, and that what you really want to do is to be a pilot. Right to education is not to help you to find careers. For God's sake, throw that out of the window. Education is not merely gathering information from a teacher, or learning mathematics from a book, or learning historical dates of kings and customs. But education is to help you understand the problems as they arise. And that requires a good mind, a mind that reasons, a mind that is sharp, a mind that has no belief. For belief is not fact. A man who believes in God is as superstitious as a man who does not believe in God. To find out, you have to reason, and you cannot reason if you already have an opinion, if you're prejudiced, if your mind has already come to a conclusion. So You need a good mind, a sharp, clear, definite, precise, healthy mind, not a believing mind, not a mind that follows authority. Right education is to help you to find out for yourself what you really, with all your heart, love to do. It does not matter what it is, whether it is to cook or to be a gardener, but it is something in which you have to put your mind, your heart. Then you're really efficient without becoming brutal. And this school should be a place where you are helped to find out for yourself through discussion, through listening, through silence, to find out the right through your life what you really love to do. Student, sir, how can we know ourselves? Krishnamurti, that is a very good question. Listen to me carefully. How do you know what you are? You understand my question. You look into the mirror for the first time after a few days and a few weeks. You look again and say, "That's me again," right? So by looking at the mirror every day, you begin to know your own. You begin to know your own face, and you say, "That's me." Now, that's me. Now, can you, in the same way, know what you are by watching yourself? Can you watch your gestures, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you behave, whether you're hard, cruel, rough, patient? Then you begin to know yourself. You know yourself by watching yourself in the mirror of what you do, what you're doing, what you are thinking, what you are feeling. That is the mirror, the feeling, the doing, the thinking. And in that mirror, you begin to watch yourself. The mirror says, "This is the fact." But you do not like the fact, so you want to alter it. You start distorting it. You do not see it as it is. Now, as I said the other day, you learn when there is attention and silence. Learning is when you have silence and give complete attention. In that state, you begin to learn. Now, sit very quietly, not because I'm asking you to sit quietly, not, but because that is the way to learn. Sit very quietly and be still, not only physically, not only in your body, but also in your mind. Be very still, then in that stillness, attend to the sounds outside this building, the cock crowing, the birds, somebody coughing, somebody leaving. Listening first to the things outside you, then listen to what is going on in your mind, and you will then see, if you listen very, very attentively in that silence, that the outside sound and inside sound are the same.
That's all. So,
It's one or two difficult ones that the mind, for the mind to be comprehend, is that when you look at a flower, that paragraph.
that's
So we have a, if you look at a rose, our mind is, the mind knows it is a rose. It's a predetermined one. But he says you cannot look like that. Don't look like with the name in your mind. You look at the flower, and that reads that requires a little rereading. I think. Is it
yeah,
little
this is it.
got that?
Yeah. Have you ever looked at a flower completely with total attention, in which there is no word, no symbol, no naming of the flower, and then therefore complete attention? Till you do that, you have no relationship with the flower. To have any relationship with another, or with the rock, or with the leaf, one has to watch and observe with complete attention.
Mm.
So actually, like one thing he says that the moment you teach a child the name of something, you cannot teach him anything after that.
Oh.
Because that becomes like the child cannot learn anything on his own after that about that thing, because already he is trying to build on a particular image.
Mm.
He's not discovering something new.
Mm.
I think this aspect of image building, which he's saying, like the image which we build about ourselves, that is the first thing that we need to understand, that in every action we are trying to build an image.
Mm.
Every day, everything we are trying to build. But if we stop building images, and what he started in the beginning, he said that if you don't have any image about yourself and you're in nature, you can enjoy nature.
Mm.
But if you, the moment you have these images, then nature doesn't have an impact on you
Mm-hmm.
unless it's very extraordinarily beautiful. But the ordinary things of life also are very beautiful, but they don't have any impact on you because you are so caught up with all the images.
So very
So
often we say that even if facilities are available to look at the nature, look out of the window, we don't do that. We will say we tend to say they are out of mode. We
hmm,
want to get into mode, this kind of thing. Then you sink yourself, and you're dwelling on something which is not going to help you. You know, so you he's saying don't. I think what he means is don't carry uh, unnecessary things in your mind.
hmm,
The mind keeps building some things, and if you store it and you'll be dwelling on that, and then it prevents you from looking outside. Then you're looking at yourself only one with a clear mind. The mind is not clear. The mind is having something. You're thinking about some problem, or what I'm going to do, or what happened yesterday, what will happen tomorrow. Then you are not able to free your mind to look at your surroundings, look at others, and enjoy the nature, which helps you to recharge your energy. Okay, look at beautiful things, and you'll have a pleasant, you'll have something pleasant to look at. And he's saying this is we are now. Even sometimes, in the morning, people get out of mood by reading a newspaper, looking at a TV channel. You see something which is not pleasant, and it's it registered in your mind. For you to shake it off and come out, difficult. Now you see another man, he'll also say, "Have you seen the news today?" Then you are still dwelling on the same subject, and you'll be sitting outside, not looking at the sun, not looking at the trees, not looking at the birds, but you're dwelling on a subject uh, which is sort of dwelling too much on the subject, which is a waste of time, and your mind, it becomes a little, what I would say, preoccupied with unwanted things. What will happen will happen. These things happen everywhere, some incidents or others. News is for you to know something, but you should not dwell too much at the expense of your own well-being.
hmm,
Your own well-being. You have to you start in the morning, you have to build up for the day. You must have energy for the whole day. If you're a non-starter, then you use the word, I am bored, I'm not in a mood, and it's difficult for them to come out of that shell. And maybe the whole day it will be like that. Maybe next day he'll become all right. But that's what he's saying. You you clear your mind, and then look at yourself.
yeah. So I can't add anything to this because this is like this is such a core aspect that unless one deliberately practices this kind of thinking where you are very consciously avoiding building images or learning from the past, this is especially connected to people's relationship with people actually.
Mm.
Your relationship with people and your relationship with yourself and your life and your psychological nature. This whole aspect is the
Yeah.
psychology because it has
The-
nothing to do
the-
with actual
yes.
example. If you're learning something, you are learning a skill, that there you're also creating some sort of a structure in your mind. Now that
Mm.
structure is going to be useful for you, and you can call that an image also. For example, you are learning to drive means you know that you have few steps in that, so you by repeated practice you remember those steps, and then
Mm.
that whole thing is a structure which later on becomes automatic, but initially it's an image. So similarly, anything which we learn for our career or for our work or for other things, then those things are knowledge based, they are factual, and they are same for everybody. But this aspect which he's talking about is a psychological thinking that we have about people. about ourselves, our relationship with people, our
Mm.
past, our future. All of those things are images that don't exist and we have
Mm.
created. They don't really exist. We
Mm.
have created that image. Now, there is no truth to that except the truth that we have created it.
Mm.
So the moment we drop those such images and we live out of that images, we are much freer as human beings. That's what I personally think, that if we drop these images, but it's very hard because it's one of the most hardest things is to drop the image, because from childhood we are developing an image all
Mm.
the time, and our parents have reinforced it that you have to have an identity. This is your identity. Identity, it becomes very important. Who you
Mm.
are, what you are doing, what have you created, that identity is a very important aspect of our life, which our parents have brought us up, our schools have brought us up like that. So to give up that entire concept of identity altogether, say there is
Mm.
nothing, I don't exist. Krishnamurti very nicely says that the man who is nothing is the happiest.
Mm.
If you're nothing, you're the happiest. It's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Because anything else causes suffering. Everything else. Even if you're an achiever, you will say, like, my family members don't respect me. I didn't make enough money. My colleagues would do not
Mm.
value me. All this. Even if you have achieved something good, also you will have. If you haven't achieved, you have. So I mean, psychological well-being and psychological health is what he is aiming at. And if you look at it from that viewpoint, you realize that but if you free yourself from images and image building, you are much lighter as a human being. You feel relaxed. But it's a very constant practice. Like, you have to be constantly aware, because image building is simply something every single person around you is doing, including
Mm.
yourself. So
Mm.
very consciously, if you become aware of it, then you can drop such
Mm.
activity. So
Mm.
it just I don't think uh, even by telling somebody this you can become. You have to. You cannot teach this to anybody. You have to learn to practice it. When you begin to practice it, that change comes in you, and you start becoming a totally different human being. Actually, because then you're not there's absolutely no image building. And this aspect, I'm so glad that he brought the aspect of career also into this, because
Mm.
later in this he asks about a boy who says, I'm getting bored, and then he says, why are you getting bored? You're not doing what you enjoy doing. So first you discover what it is that you're enjoying doing. So that
Mm.
boy asks him, about him, what is your life like, what do you enjoy? He says, I'm doing what I'm enjoying doing. I like to go and talk to people. This is what I'm doing and I like to do. So the moment, now, when discovers what one likes to do, you see there is no image building in that.
Mm.
The moment we form an image of one activity, we destroy our happiness in doing that activity.
Mm.
You see
Mm.
that it's very
Yeah.
very important to get this, that even we can destroy the one thing which we love to do if we are trying to create an image about it.
Mm.
If you do it for the sheer joy of doing it, we'll always be getting that joy.
Mm.
There's no change in that. But the
Mm.
moment we create an image of, okay, Vimal, she does this very well. Everyone should know she's successful in this.
Mm.
Now that's an image I'm trying to create. Moment I do that, that thing that I do very well, I will lose the joy of it. Because all I'm interested in is an image. Now I don't know whether I can retain that image in other people's mind. It's like an actress who's trying to keep her position in the hierarchy. Like, she wants to be number one, so she's very careful of all the what people talk about her. So we all become like actors in this whole. That's why in a way we all love actors and actresses, because that's who we really are in a way. We're actors. We're not real at all. We have formed an image, and now we are trying to live into that image.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if we don't form that image, and we lose so much when we form that image, we don't realize that. In this chapter, you see, you lose the love for nature. You lose the enjoyment that nature can give you. You lose the enjoyment that work can give you. You lose the enjoyment that relationships can give you. All of it is because of image building.
Hmm. The definition about that boredom also I like, because if you do something which you do not like, you do it for the sake of career or earning money, and he's saying you will get bored. If you love a thing, uh, you have an aptitude and you pursue that, uh, maybe as a career or as a hobby, then you will not get bored. It is something thirst on these people. That's why it's education. He says you have to find out what is your aptitude is, without your parents telling you what you should do.
Yeah.
That you, by discussion, the school will find your aptitude. Otherwise, you may go in a wrong direction and you'll find you're a misfit, and then you come back. This kind of thing.
That's why
Uh,
I personally think it's important to allow children to do what they love to do.
mm,
Once they get, because otherwise, if you don't allow them to do what they want, they love to do, they'll never know what that concept of loving to do something.
mm, mm.
It starts from there.
You see, he says this: if the mind is thinking about a career and money making, that is not life. That is what he's saying. Your
Hmm.
mind is always think about some career, money making. Then you get married, you get children, you buy a house, you settle down, and ultimately you go in a different route, which will put strain on your mind. So using that, you want to be a lawyer. Maybe your father is a lawyer, your family is a lawyer. Then you'll find you're not so good after studying law. You find yourself that you're not good, or you do not like this. Then what else will do? The precious 4 5 years, 5 years are wasted. Then you will be into something. So he actually, this happened because he has not, that person has not found uh, what attitude he has or what aptitude he has, to in which direction he has to go. I would say that just because the family it has a few lawyers, then he has been asked to do this law. Similarly, doctors, similarly, maybe he is good, maybe he's not good. We do not know. That one aspect he has covered. So he says in the school, you is first using the word, you sit absolutely silent, free your mind, then only you will learn. The learning is an important process.
Hmm.
Rote memory is not learning. You write an exam, then a known question comes, you write an answer, you get marks. That's not the thing. That's not learning. Learning is, he says, you free your mind totally, sit still, absolutely still. Then you will see what's going on, and your learning process will happen, and that will ultimately slowly develop into uh, a sort of situation, and in which direction you would like to go and what your aptitude is. You have to follow that. That nothing should be imposed on that person. He has to find it himself, and he's using the word, and with the help of teachers, with the help of discussion, you can find out what suits you best, or what type of I wouldn't use the word career. What type of education further, or what do you call, to make a living in this world. You make a living in this world, and you have to be useful to society as well. Not only to yourself. You have to be useful to the society itself. That aptitude, what you would like to pursue, he feels that it should come at school level, not later.
Hmm.
You develop that at school level. So there, if you are able to sit still, you control yourself, you're able to enjoy nature, and you learn, you're in a position to learn. All this will help the mind focus. focus away from all these, what you call, uh, predetermined predetermined forces which will influence and clog the mind, not allow you to think freely. You go on this path, you do this worship, you do this, our family is having so many daughters, you also become one. So something is imposed on it. Well, you would say, no, well, I would like to pursue this because my aptitude, I will get some satisfaction. I'm in this direction. That's what he says. It should start at school level. Then you free yourself. You free yourself. Then you learn, and the mind will think. It will blossom. He gives. He says, I love to do whatever I do. I love, and I continue to do. Okay, he's saying that I would like to go to many countries, give a talk. I just not just because I want people to listen to me. He's saying he's making it a point. It's not just imposing things. He wants to talk. He wants to make you to think, and he loves it. I continue to do it. So this way, not many people are there who like to do this. They always have, uh, as you said, they go up in the career, then they will all aim why I'm not number one, or why I should not be like that person, this person. The mind gets clogged that way, and you are missing things in the process. You're creating image, and you want others to create image as well and join you, which is
You want others to
which
agree
is
to your
judgmental.
image. You want others to
Yes,
accept and
yes.
agree to your image of yourself.
Sometimes people say, no, that you know who I am. By your act and things like that, you create that. You're creating that image, and you want others to accept also. Uh,
Yeah. Okay, then, sir. Good night. Let's end it.
you see, when I was in an office, then I was given charge. I believed what you call a Japanese concept, that there is a hall, all the staff are housed there. I didn't have a cabin of my own. I sat in the same hall.
Okay.
I had a similar table like the rest of them.
Hmm.
I can hear what they say, and they can hear what I'm talking. And we carried on very well. And we introduced this concept. They say it is a Japanese concept. We don't bark them from
Open office. Open.
yes, open office in which I commanded all the respect.
Okay.
All the respect. I not necessarily I will tell them, come over here. I can go to that table also.
Nice.
This kind of thing. And they have a feeling that they're also equally important. They get that feeling. Everything is going to happen inside the room. They will not get importance. And they may only try to act. When you come out of the cabin, they will try to act as if they are working. But here I find them working. We cut a joke, enjoy. There's no, we drink the same tea. There's nothing special. And we carried on. We carried on. Even if I'm having an extra
Where
position,
did you work, sir?
I worked in a Tata firm,
Ah,
dealt in chemicals.
okay.
You have heard about name Rallies.
Yes.
That was a Greek company,
Okay.
into trading. Then somewhere in 60s, Tata acquired some interest in it, and they made pesticides and other chemicals.
Okay.
I was in the sort of a leather chemical field.
Okay.
And